right, y'all. So, I'm going to do another video on Hotshot 107. First and foremost, congratulations to Marty, Clay, Ben, Mike Cessna, and everybody else that has teamed up with Hotshot 107 on 150 trucks leased. That means 150 individual entrepreneurs have been put to work by this great company. Now, 150 people can't be wrong all the time. I want to tell y'all a little bit about Hotshot 107. I first started dealing with them a little more than 3 years ago. I left my job as a correctional officer down in Miami, Florida, and I wanted to change. I wanted to go back over the road trucking. I called, at the time, Caden was over the driver recruiting. Now I believe he's over safety. And Caden very quickly got me squared away to go to work for him. I drove for one of their owner-operators that they had working for them. Well, eventually I wound up getting my own truck and driving for them, and I drove my own truck with them up until about a year ago, and my truck decided it was going to quit. Had an older Dodge Ram 3500, way upside down on the payments. You know how it is. It happens. It's trucking. But they went well above, and I'm not going to tell you exactly how well above and beyond that they went for me, because I don't want y'all to expect that from them. But they went well above and beyond for me. And they're great people if you want to work, if you prove yourself that you want to work. And I want to stress this. Don't go in there to Hotshot 107 thinking that you're going to make $100,000 a year and you want to be home every weekend. It's not going to happen. There's not a trucking company out there that you can do that with if they're telling you the truth. It's not going to happen. You want to go out there, and I've said this in my other videos about Hotshot 107, and I'll say this now. You need to be prepared to stay out there at least 6 to 8 weeks at a time to make any money, and you need to come home for no longer than a week. If you are not prepared to do that, over-the-road trucking as an owner-operator is not for you. Now, people will disagree with me on that, but I'm telling you right now, if you want to maximize your profits, you need to be prepared. I try to stay out 3-4 months at a time, but I'm a single man. I do what I want. And the reason is I have stuff that I would like to achieve. Unfortunately, though, I wanted to stay out that long, my truck didn't. And, you know, the only reason why I'm not actively driving for them at the moment is because of an equipment failure. But I've kept up with them. I still talk to Marty. I still talk to Ben regularly. And I'm going to tell you that they are some of the nicest guys you ever wanted to deal with. If you want to work, they will put you to work. If you want to make money, they have the money for you to make. They have the loads to get you where you need to go. Trust the dispatch team. You're not going to go see your girlfriend in Kalamazoo every weekend. You're not going to go and, spend all your time down in Florida on the beach every other week. Trust the dispatch. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I-70, I-80, I-90 in the wintertime sucks. That's where a lot of their freight runs, is I-70, I-80, and I-90. In the wintertime, it really sucks. Tarping in the wintertime sucks. There's no way to do it. You have to want to work, and this is the important thing I want to stress. And I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna sit here and blow sunshine up your ass. If you want to work, this is the company to go to work for. If you are lazy, do me a favor, do not call Hotshot 107. Do not waste their time. If you want to decide that you want to just run the Southeast all winter, you're not going to make any money. Trust the dispatch team. They're not going to send you somewhere that they can't get you out of rather quickly. Occasionally you'll take loads to the Northeast, and you may have to deadhead a few hundred miles out of the Northeast, but I guarantee you that load going to the Northeast is going to well make up for it in pay. With Hotshot 107, you see your rate cons. If you don't know what a rate con is, that's telling you what the load is, how much it weighs, what it pays, how many miles it is, where it's going, where you picking up. You're going to see your rate cons. And again, they have the freight. I'm going to tell you something else. They have an excellent safety team, too. Josh and Caden, which, like I said, Caden's now over safety. Billy, great guys. They're not going to let you get away with violating FMCSA rules, and they shouldn't. If you want to be an outlaw truck driver, do not go to work for Hotshot 107 because they will not put up with it. They protect their DOT numbers, and they should. That's the right thing to do, because in protecting their DOT numbers, a lot of the DOT numbers are owned by a guy named Mike Cessna. Great guy. Real Christian man. And normally with me, I would say that was a bad thing, because my opinion is those that like to flaunt their religion, usually don't walk the walk. I can tell you Mike Cessna walks the walk. He really does. And I can't say that about a lot of people. Usually if the first words out of somebody's mouth is, I'm a Christian, I automatically reach for my wallet to make sure it's still in my back pocket. Mike Cessna would be the exception to this. There are some bad things about Hotshot 107, and I'll go ahead and tell you this now. The bad thing is again, you're not going home every weekend. Oh well, it's trucking. You're over the road. You are your own entrepreneur. You need to understand that you need to keep your wheels turning if you want to stay earning. That's the truth. When I was driving for them, the average I grossed was between $6,000 and $8,000 a week. You may not get that. You may only make $5,000. Out of that, they're going to take 30%. That 30% covers their insurance, and if you ever priced commercial carrier insurance, you'll understand it's not cheap, I can promise you. I know Progressive wanted $37,000 from me for one Hotshot truck on my own, and it was an old paid-off Hotshot truck. And that was for a year, $37,000. They're taking this out of it for you. They have already got the insurance. They've got the DOT numbers. They know what they're doing as far as FMCSA. You don't have to worry about this. If you need help getting a base plate, getting an IRP, they will get you an IRP. The IRP I had on my truck that they got, now I bought one initially, which is a portion at 48,000 pounds. The one they got me was 40, but hey, I was never that heavy. I broke 30 a few times with them, but I've never been 40. You know, you need to understand, and if you're a non-CDL guy, which, again, I don't agree with non-CDL Hotshot. Personally, it is and this is not Hotshot 107 saying this. This is Anthony saying this, and Marty and Ben will disagree with me on this. I am of the opinion that you need a Class A CDL to run Hotshot. And my theory on this is simple, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Number one, if you have a Class A CDL, you at least have some sense of what you're doing out there. Number two, you can haul more than 26,000 gross. They use light trailers, so that kind of helps out the non-CDL hotshot guys. I got a Class A CDL with every endorsement that you can possibly get on a Mississippi driver's license. I'm not saying that you have to do that. I have hazmat, I have tanker, I have passenger, I have school bus, I have double and triple trailers, I have a motorcycle endorsement. I'm not saying you have to do all that, but it's not a bad idea. You know, get a TWIC card. That's another thing I will tell you. I have a TWIC card now. I didn't when I was running with them before, but I have it now. Get a TWIC card. It will help you out. It will save you. A TWIC card costs $122.50 and a background check, fingerprints, and you'll get it back. It took me 2 weeks to get mine back. Again, this is all on the TSA. But if you go deliver to a port, you're going to need that. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay somebody to escort you into the port. Well, why pay somebody to do what I can do myself? Hey, I got a TWIC badge. Let me get in here. Boom, good. These are things that y'all need to have. Another thing, I'm big on this. I am so big on this, what I'm fixing to tell y'all right now. Get a trucker GPS. Don't use this, please. Do not use your phone. Get a trucker GPS. It will keep you out of trouble. That is your insurance policy against being somewhere that you shouldn't be. Trucker GPS. You need that. Another thing I'm going to tell y'all to buy is a CB. Yes, a CB. I'm going to also tell you to buy a motor carrier. Excuse me, I got people blowing me up here. I'm telling you, these are things that you need to have before you start hotshot trucking. I have all three, and you should too. And learn how to use these pieces of equipment, because these things will save you. Oh, here's something that they had when I was there, and they still do. Pre-pass. You don't know how much pre-pass will actually save you. When you're driving in every state except Georgia, most states accept pre-pass. I know Georgia doesn't. There's a couple of more that don't use pre-pass, but for the most part, every one of them use pre-pass. Well, they have pre-pass plus, which also covers your tolls. So if I'm coming down I-70, again, they run a lot of 70. In fact, their office is right off of I-70 in Zanesville, Ohio. If I'm running on I-70 and I hit Pennsylvania, well, that's a toll road once you get past Pittsburgh. Turns into I-76, that's a PA Turnpike. That's an expensive road to be driving a truck on. Now it's toll by plate or pre-pass. Now it's toll by plate or pre-pass. New York is now toll by plate. Massachusetts is toll by plate. Thankfully, I remember when New York, you had to actually either have pre-pass or you had to pay your toll and you had to have cash. And let me tell you, that's a pain in the ass. You know, New York's all about getting your money. New Jersey, all about getting your money. Delaware, all about getting your money. You got to pay to get in and pay to get out of those states. Pre-pass saves you time. It saves you money. It's also cheaper if you have pre-pass versus paying, with change or cash. And I don't like to carry a whole lot of cash on me. I really don't. I'd rather swipe my card. I've done got lazy. So when you're using their pre-pass system, that saves you time. If you pull up to the scale, you may get a bypass light, even if the scales are open. But if you don't have pre-pass and the scales are open, you got to pull in. And let me tell you something, people. I don't care that you're driving that Ford. I don't care that you're driving that Chevrolet. I don't care that you're driving that Dodge. It may as well be a Peterbilt that you're driving, because you will pull into the scales. And if you don't, and ag stations too, you will pull in. And if you don't, you're going to wish that you pulled in, because they're coming to get you. It's trucking. You are a professional driver. Doesn't matter if you have a CDL or not. You are engaged in interstate commerce. You will abide by the same rules that trucking companies, big trucks have to do. You will run a logbook, and you will keep it legal. And if you don't, you're going to get a nice phone call from Caden or Josh, and they're going to be like, "Hey, man, really? No shame in the game. It happens." The first time, they'll probably sit you down and talk and tell you, "Hey, man, look, we're not doing this." Second, third time, you probably going to go ahead and lose your job with them, because they have to protect their DOT numbers. They have to protect the other drivers that are driving under that DOT number. It's not just because they're picking on you. They're saving 150 other drivers' jobs, and you're putting 150 drivers' jobs at risk. And there's no sense in it. You have plenty of time. You don't need to run illegal. You don't need to run outlaw with them. If you can't get to your delivery point on time, communicate with your dispatcher. Clay's got a good dispatch team. Communicate with them. Don's got a good dispatch team over there. Communicate with them. "Hey, man, I really can't make this because I got stuck behind a bad accident on I-80 coming through the southern part of Chicago, and oh my God, I was in traffic. I was in a traffic backup for 5 hours. I'm not going to make my delivery. And they'll rework it with the broker. You may have some JIT loads. JIT means just in time. You may have some JIT loads once in a while. But those can be reworked too. Because it's trucking and stuff happens on the road. Another thing I want to tell you all about Hotshot 107 is they try not to dispatch you on the weekends. They want you to get what's known as a 34-hour restart every weekend. And you know what? That's a good thing. That is such a good thing to do. Because when you get that 34-hour restart, you start Monday morning fresh with a fresh 70 hours. And that means that you can run unlimited. Not really unlimited. You still have a 14-hour rule, and you still have your 11-hour rule, and you still have your 8-hour rule. But you can run 11 hours a day all the way until Friday, and you're not going to break your 70. I don't recommend going 11 hours a day, but things do happen on the road, unfortunately, and there's just nothing that you can do about it. It happens. Y'all think about it. Personally, I think Hotshot 107 is probably the best trucking company out there, period. And there are a lot of trucking companies out there. If you want to run Hotshot, y'all think about checking them out. Go ahead and give you a phone number if y'all want to call them. Y'all can feel free to call them at 740-877-6709. Oh, another good thing, they don't care how old your truck is as long as it'll pass inspection, and they will inspect it. Obviously, the older the truck you drive, the more chances you are going to have of having issues and problems. But if you want to run your 95 F350 dually 4-door with a 7.3 in it, run it, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with a 7.3. If you want to come out here and make money, do it. If you want to do it the right way, the legal way, these are the guys to go to work for. Y'all take care. Be safe out there on the road. Got any questions? You can feel free to give me a call, 228-337-2099, and I'll be glad to answer any question that you have.